If you're a new developer in your team and just beginning to become a junior developer, this video is for you because I'm going to talking about 5 common mistakes that every junior developer makes and how to avoid them. My name is Bharat. Let's get into this video. Alright, if you're new to this channel and do not know what I'm doing, my name is Bharat and I have this programming channel. I talk about a lot of programming languages like Flutter, Android, whatnot, and also help you guys in understanding how you can become a better software engineer in your life. If you like this channel, do not forget to subscribe and watch this video to the end because I've got some super important 5 common mistakes that every junior developer makes. Let's get rolling. Alright, the number one thing that I want to discuss about is that if you're learning the wrong things right at the beginning, it's going to make your life super hard. Why am I telling this? Because say for example, you're just a new developer in your team. You might have had this experience in say web technology or web stack and you've gotten into this team. And this team is completely against what you've learned. You would have learned JavaScript, HTML, CSS, but this team might have an additional language called as a Python that they may be doing. So how are you going to adapt to the situation? You are not going to just jump straight in, do this 2 weeks of Python tutorial and try to get into this framework that they're building and start making code commits. That is just the first common mistake that every junior developer makes, including me, made. So what are you going to do is just not directly jump into these tutorials, learn some things that are not even relevant to the team and make a lot of code commits and just completely destroy this framework and get a bad reputation for yourself. The thing is, if you're new to the team and your team is actually doing something other than your work expertise or your language expertise, make sure you sit with the team or maybe sit with a couple of members or even one member and discuss what is the team doing, and how you can understand the framework that they're doing better, or if they're building a project, how are they building this project, and what are the things that you are going to be responsible for when you get into this project. So when you do that, you understand what are the models that you're going to be touching. It is also going to be very, very helpful for you to understand what are the things that you have to need so that you can just deliver to the team in that span of time. So when you do that, when you start getting into the framework, start learning from there, that is a very good path to actually build from and learn the language completely. A Python, a very good example that I can give, when I first jumped into this one of the FANG company as an intern, had this experience in Node.js and Python. But when I was into this team, they're completely building things out of Java. So when they were building things out of Java, I had a couple of 2-3 weeks of ramp up time. So I did do some tutorials here and there, and I didn't consult the team at all. I didn't discuss with them. I just did this tutorials for 3 weeks and just jumped straight into the framework. And I saw some code comments here and there. I was given a task, so I did those tasks and I put them as commit. So the first comment that I got from one of the senior developers was, a lot of things are not even relevant to what you're doing in the framework. I would suggest you to first sit down with the team, talk what you're doing, and then jump into the framework. So that was a very, very important learning curve for me. That's what I've been practicing from there on. From there on, after my intern, I jumped into a full time, and from the full time, I got into a new language as well. I got into a new framework in Python, but in Django. So I learned all of that by just following this example. So I just went into the team, learned what they're doing, and from there on, it was just piece of cake. The second thing is that you're not spending enough time with your senior developer. Every team in this IT sphere will definitely have somebody who's considered as a senior developer. The senior developer will be making a lot of code check-ins and maybe overseeing a lot of projects, and it is important that you just bug them for at least 5 to 10 minutes of the time, if not every day, maybe 2 times in a week or 3 times in a week. It could be even as a tea or a coffee break. It could be a brown bag session. Just talk to them when they're eating or when they're having their lunch. Even though they may not be very, very busy, or even though they may not be very helpful right at the beginning, you will definitely find that you can pick their brains when you're talking to them. So the conversation is definitely going to help you in understanding what the team is doing in the first place. And also, more importantly, is going to help you in understanding that you are not alone in this team. So you're just going to understand that you have better understanding with the senior developer and also understand what the framework is doing. And a lot of things can combine together and you just definitely learn something out of that. So make sure that you definitely talk to your senior developer and maybe not bug them so much to reduce the productivity, but just 5-10 minutes of 2 or 3 times a week is going to be very, very helpful. The third important thing, this is actually very, very important, is to not show off your code as soon as you enter the team. So this is always an urge if you're coming out of this college or university, fresh graduates, and when you just jump into the team, you're just going to develop. You just are given a task, you're just going to go in and develop this task, and you're just going to show off this code in such a way that it is not even readable, not going to be maintainable, but you just have to show off your code because you know the language better. So when you do that, it's going to create a very, very bad reputation for you. And not only understanding, it's not going to project you as a very, very new guy, newbie in the team, but also it's going to project as if that you do not understand how the language or the framework works. So always make sure that you don't show off your code, rather make intelligible comments, or make sure that you have intelligible conversations with the team members and then do those comments. It is not always necessary that you have to break down a 50 or 60 line code to 3-line code. The mistake that I did, as soon as I went into the team, a senior developer had like 50 to 60 line of couple of methods that he wrote for the framework, and I went in and I said, I can just shrink this to just 3 lines of lambda expressions. So why do you have to do that? I just did that. I just wrote 3 lines of lambda expressions for that and put a commit. And I got this ping from the senior developer. He asked me if he can have a one-to-one with me, meaning that I can have a one-on-one conversation with me. And he took me into this room and the meeting hall, and he said that this is what I did and this is what you did. What is the difference between these two are that my code is going to be maintainable even 3 years down the line, and your code is not going to be. That is the only difference between these two, but still my code is actually considered as better than your code. So that is how you have to understand that you do not have to write these impulse show off codes, rather make some intelligible commits and make sure that you get the reputation that you have to get. Junior developers are always looked down, for sure, understand that, but all these mistakes are actually, if you can avoid these mistakes, it's always going to be helpful. The fourth thing that I think is also important is not prioritizing your tasks. Say you have a sprint of 1 to 2 weeks, which is going to be anywhere 5 to 10 days. In this 5 to 10 days, you have say 3 or 5 tasks that you have to do. The urge is to always finish these tasks in almost 1 day's time or 2 days time, without even prioritizing them depending on the importance of completion. So for example, say your code is going to be dependent on somebody else's code. So why are you not prioritizing your code first? Because it is going to impact somebody else. If you're not going to do that and you're just going to completely try to finish things off in 1 day and you jump the schedule, you forget to prioritize, it is not just going to impact you but also the team members as well. And that is actually a very, very strong sign of a newbie in the team. So just make sure that you prioritize your tasks, break them down, sit down in the sprint planning meeting or whatever meeting you guys have as a team and discuss them with the team. So that way you are not just doing things by yourself alone. It is your team that is actually working for you. So that is how you have to build your reputation along as the team grows. The fifth common mistake that I see or that I did was committing to some deadline without even consulting or without even discussing with the team members. Say, example, you are actually given a task, or say, for example, you're given a module to complete. You do not have to definitely give a deadline just for the sake of giving a deadline. Your task might take 1 week, but since you are actually willing to show that you are a very hard worker, you might say 3 days. And what if you cannot finish those things in 3 days? So it is always important that you take your time, sit back and just look your task right with the eye and just discuss what are the breakdown things that you can do. Break things down, write them in a paper or write them in a document. Make sure that this documented sheet goes to your boss or whoever has assigned you this task. So when you do that, when you build this habit of writing things down in a document and then communicating with that, it's going to really show you off as a very immature person. But not just as a matured person, but also it's going to help you guys as the team in finishing this task in the deadline. If you're skipping this deadline, it's not just going to impact you, but it's also going to impact the team as well. So make sure that you do not do that. Do not commit to any deadline prematurely. Rather sit down, discuss, and just make sure that you can do these things properly. Alright guys, that's it for me. That's the 5 important common mistakes that I want to discuss in this video. If you like this video, you know what to do. Hit the like button and comment if you have any questions in the comment section below. And most importantly, do not forget to smash that subscribe button because I can come up with a lot of such videos in the upcoming video series. Until then, it's Bharat. Peace out. Have a great day.